Finally, it seems that the Axis media is turning on Marvel. I mean, this is astonishing after years of gaslighting. Years in which YouTubers that aren't authoritative sources were saying that Marvel starts to suck, and they were offering constructive criticism. And during these years, the Axis media was like, no, 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 they're all a bunch of racists. They don't understand. These movies are American masterpieces. They're going to last through the ages. Only racists and sexists and homophobes and transmophobes do not like Marvel movies. It turns out that we were right. Everyone on YouTube was correct. And now the Axis media itself has to admit that it's failing. Because objectively it is, by every single metric. There is absolutely no standard that you can apply and not see just the utter shite that Marvel is. When it comes to selling merchandise, like toys, when it comes to getting butts on the seats, when it comes to looking at the stocks, like everything is going down. They will not say why it's going down, of course. They will not say it's because we hired ideologues that did their utmost best in order to get our competent people fired. That they will not mention that, but at least they have to admit that, okay, maybe. And they even like start to go a little bit into the fact that diversity may have been a bad thing. And this is thanks for South Park, which opened the doors and they made the Panderverse a thing, which honestly should be used a lot more. Like, we live in the Panderverse. But yeah, I mean, I also love the things here. Like, when I first saw this on Twitter, I legitimately thought that it is an actual comic book cover. For those of you unfortunate enough who still look at Marvel covers, this is exactly how they draw their superheroes. Like, usually the white men look absolutely beaten, look absolutely, like, destroyed. The women, they look stoic and angry. It's like they spend most of their time reading up on stoicism as a philosophy. And I genuinely felt like this is an actual comic book cover. But then I looked a little bit more and I'm like, wait, what's going on? And I said, oh, so this is Variety. Like, they did it. But again, like the fact that it surprised me that I literally couldn't tell that this is not an official comic book cover, it goes to show you just how bad the industry is at. Now, you know, to further iterate, when I say that they are going into diversity a little bit, and again, like, diversity doesn't mean like hiring diverse cast, because if you look at movies from the 90s, they always had diversity. This wasn't the problem. Like, no one was complaining. But the problem is the race swapping, the gender swapping, that makes absolutely no sense. There's no reason to do it, but they do it anyway. And as you get to see here, when it comes to the Blade reboot, this ideology completely destroyed the concept. I mean, making a Blade reboot is so fucking easy. It's a guy with a sword looking really cool and killing vampires. It's not rocket science. Like, you don't even need a complex plot. You just need evil vampire lady has nefarious plan for the world. Blade goes there and kills vampires while looking good. It's like making a John Wick movie. It's almost impossible to fuck it up. Like, you have to try really hard. It has to be malice. It has to be bad. You want to sabotage the project in order to make a Blade movie suck. And this is literally what they have done. As you can see here, Blade reboot with Mahershala Ali signed on for the role of a vampire, and things look promising for a 2023 release. Debosh Kushi, the project has gone through at least 5 writers, 2 directors, and 1 shutdown 6 weeks before production. One person familiar with the script says that the story at one point morphed into a narrative led by women and filled with life lessons, while Blade himself was relegated to the 4th lead. A bizarre idea considering that the studio had 2-time Oscar winner Ali on board. It's not bizarre at all. Like, this is literally how they're writing shit. I mean, if you guys played Alan Wake, it's Alan Woke guest starring Alan Wake. And this is literally what they wanted to do here. It's like, hey, Blade reboot, guest starring Blade. I think like they did that to Mad Max to a certain extent, but it kind of worked because the movie wasn't trying to push life lessons down your throat. Right? Like, usually the main problem isn't necessarily that the main hero of the title is guest starring. Although that's bait, right? Like, that's the bait and switch. It's the life lessons. That's the main issue. It's the fucking life lessons. And it's also the fact that they cannot depict women. Like, Hollywood is absolutely incapable of depicting a woman that's kind of like the girls around you, you know? Like a relatable female character that you can say, oh yeah, like this girl looks relatable. What's interesting, right? Like, they keep doing the girl boss shit, and the girl boss has to beat up 5 men twice her size, otherwise she can't prove herself. And meanwhile, there was like this other independent movie, which did a girl that's basically like constantly failing, but she looks wholesome. So she's not like really the butt end of the jokes, but like she's having hardship basically, right? Like she's very vulnerable. Everyone fucking loves that. Like everyone goes protect mode, must protect. That's how you make a wholesome character in one way, right? Like it's not the only way, but it's one way. It's definitely not this though. It's definitely not this. Like this is bad. Like this is bad writing. Women in real life do not act like Hollywood tries to portray them. But they keep trying this. Like, they keep trying to stuff this down the market's throat. And then they go Pikachu face when the market just doesn't want it. And they go for anime. Or they go for literally everything else. And it's the whole thing, right? Like, if you're going to get an Oscar award-winning actor, like Mr. Ali here, why the fuck would you not use him? Like, why would you use him as a cameo in his own movie and then not be surprised that fans are upset? Like, it makes absolutely no sense. Imagine going to a rock concert to listen for Metallica, and instead you get some random band that gets to play 75% of the concert, and then you get like a little bit of Metallica idea. Of course people will be upset, and they will demand their money back. But no, for some reason, they think that this is acceptable. And you end up, like from a business standpoint, it doesn't make any sense because you're paying this actor so much just so he can sit on the bench. Does that make any sense? Doesn't make financial sense. That doesn't make sense from a story point. Doesn't make sense. But again, these are usually the self-inserts. These are the writers that try to self-insert themselves into the story. And because they are oftentimes narcissistic, they can't allow someone else to take the lead. So their self-insert has to be right there in the front. Let me know what you guys think, though. And as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.